Hey everyone, Terrence Destructor 525 here, and well, I am back for the 10th and most likely final video of this series of narrow gauge extension videos. I know it's been a long time since the 9th one, but I thought to myself, you know what, let me get downstairs and conclude the series once and for all. As you can see, the layout for the most part is complete, just visually, and I'm happy to say in terms of wiring, most of it is complete as well. I was especially encouraged to make this video with the new release of Peter-Sam, as you can see right here. And yeah, without further ado, let's go right into the specifics. So, as I did already mention, wiring. I think you guys remember from the previous narrow gauge extension videos, I've had issues with these Petco spurs, because what I did not realize was that, I think this just goes for Europe in general, the way the spurs are wired. If you have the spur set this way, for instance, the power will go through here, and the power will get blocked out here, and vice versa. So if it's set this way, power will go through here, but not through here. Now, I didn't wire them like that, because I didn't realize that that's how they're wired. I wired them like the American Atlas switches, which I believe you would need insulated rail joiners unless you had DCC, which I do not have with this layout as of now. But yeah, basically what I ended up doing there was anywhere where I had an insulated rail joiner, except for one area which I still have to go in and resolder, I was able to solder in a wire. So I'll give you a perfect example. I know the lining is really not the greatest here, and I may need to get a light, but if you look very carefully right there, yeah, you probably can't even see, but right about there, there's an insulated rail joiner because there is a switch there. The switch for one track going up to the incline, the other one staying at ground level. And what I did was go in with solder and a little wire there and fluxes, etc., and just resolder that connection so that you didn't have the electricity blocked out as if you were wiring an American Atlas switch. So thankfully that worked out really nicely, and I'm going to be running Peter-Sam, the latest Bachmann model, which, by the way, there is going to be a review on him coming soon. Right here. Just because, you know, I personally think he is Bachmann's best narrow gauge engine yet. And, well, I'm not going to spoil too much because I want to save all that for the review itself. But what we will be doing in this video is running him to test out the layout. But as I was saying, yeah, I was able to solve the problem with the wiring there, and I was just so relieved and thankful. There are still a few dead spots. In other words, right over here, or specifically right over here, this I'm still not able to get wired for some reason, but the whole track I can run Peter-Sam all the way up here and around into the coal tower up there, which is just awesome. But yeah, as you can see, the tracks are pretty bare right now. I removed a lot of the rolling stock because it was just getting really dusty because I haven't really worked on this part of the layout in actually quite some time. So came in with the vacuum cleaner and cleaned the tracks to an extent. They're still not perfectly clean, as you maybe could make out from looking at through the camera, but it is what it is. One thing I will state, though, right off the bat, which is something I should mention specifically, is I believe in the last narrow gauge extension video, all of this was still bare. So as you can see, I finally went in here and added all of this overgrown, foliage and clump foliage, coarse turf, and fine light gray ballast. Now, initially I was going for the restored look of Bertram's old mine, in which it was just that light gray fine ballast and nothing more, at the end of Toby's Discovery. But then I thought to myself, you know what, that looks very similar to what I already have at Enofa Quarry in the middle of my layout. So to make things a little more interesting, maybe I'll go for the abandoned look. And truth be told, I actually am glad I went with this look because, one, it looks more unique, and I actually think it looks more realistic as well. So, as you can see, I basically went on top of all the light gray ballast there with, it was actually a mixture of the Woodland Scenics dirt, I believe it's olive green coarse turf, and a few other greens mixed in if you look carefully. It's mostly the olive green though, as you could probably tell. And yeah, I think overall it came out pretty nice. You'll notice a few Bachmann resin buildings in here too, such as the storage shed, which unfortunately, I think this is the only storage shed that is still available from the Bachmann website. And I believe it's discontinued. It's going to be discontinued soon too, if I were to make a prediction. So make sure you get yours soon, and highly recommend Train World because that's where I bought mine, and they still have a bunch in stock, thankfully. So yeah, get get yours from Train World. I believe it's only $24.99 from Train World as well. So that I think is a really good deal for these resin buildings. I mean, they're realistic, they look gorgeous, and you know, who knows? Maybe one day Bachmann will come back with a new batch, but that's just something we'll have to see. Anyways, back to the layout itself. You'll see I have Scarlet and Rheneas here. This is the siding that Bertram sat in when Toby discovered him, coming up here. Little sidings going into the mine there. And yeah, and then I split here, and here we have a loose representation of Skarloey Station. This side looks pretty accurate, but this side I couldn't fit the other station building. As you can see, it's very tight, and I really tried to split the scene there. But yeah, overall, you know, got the water towers and Peter Sam sitting there now. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. And then up here we have the incline. Now, I think this too wasn't complete last time. But yeah, I finally went in and I filled in all the gaps and got the winch up there. Now, the next thing I'll have to do at some point is, you know, get that to work, either manually or electrically. What I'm hoping is to, you know, drill a hole somewhere up there so that I can either fit in a motor underneath or some sort of manual, operation, which I could control on my own. You'll notice up here too, I actually had a fake Christmas tree that we were actually getting rid of, and basically I cut it up and used them for trees up here. And you know, I know while they're not the most realistic when you look up close, from afar it actually looks pretty nice, I think. So it did work nicely overall. The only thing I kind of want to add here now is like little bits of slate, which I think that I could probably buy from Woodland Scenics or maybe Jarvis, one of the scenery companies out there. You could probably buy Woodland Scenics, but yeah, that's really it in terms of visuals. I'm trying to think about anything else I missed. I know there are still tools and stuff all over the place. I think at this point we just want to see Peter Sam run. So I'll try to get some cool shots. Of course, this is one of those impromptu layouts in which I'm kind of just like, you know, rambling on and like moving the camera around like this. So they're not going to be the most professional shots in this layout, but if you want to see more professional shots, check out either my review or the upcoming Train World Peter Sam video, which should be up within the next few weeks. So yeah, and there goes Peter Sam. He's going the wrong way. I'm going to have him go forwards. And then here, as you can see, there he is. Have this open. Yeah. As Peter Sam's running, a huge recommendation. I know my lighting's changing, and I apologize for that. My camera always does that for some reason. But a huge recommendation I have, he does stop on this crossing sometimes, is when you have tunnels, I highly recommend, you'll see under here, you cut a hole underneath. I know it's super dark, you probably cannot see anything, but there is in fact a gap there so that you can go in and clean the tracks. That's super, super important, guys, especially when you have a huge tunnel like that and you know you can't really reach your hand in, because I'm telling you, even with you know, if you were going with a rod or a track cleaning car, you know, I always still make sure to have that gap from the bottom, just to make sure that, you know, in case there's a derailment or something like that, I can always reach in and get those freight cars and engines out. But yeah, here's back. Yeah, and I know the tracks really aren't the cleanest still, I'm going to be honest with you. I just kind of went in with some Goo Gone and a rag and wiped up what I could. So that's why he's not really running as smoothly as he could, but believe me, he came smooth right out of the box. The reason why he's doing any sort of, you know, bopping around is really just because of the tracks not being perfectly clean yet. Just believe me, they are quite filthy. Let's get a shot of Peter Sam there. There he is. Back there, I really gotta get in with a track cleaning. And there, he stopped. Alright, so let me put the camera down. This is where things can get a little dodgy. And then, there he is. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn off the power. I'm going to run him, and then I'm going to run him into the main area of the layout, which, as you know, is here. But to do that, I actually have to set the spurs a certain way, of course, with these Pecco spurs. There we go. Yeah, again, the track's not him. Believe me. Tracks are dirty. He's way too fast there. Alright. So, go backwards. Just want to get a nice shot of him going over the bridge. Alright. Him reversing. You know, it reminds me of that shot from Duncan Gets Spooked when it's like, you know, Peter Sam arrived at the scene of the disaster. His driver sighed, you know, him reversing onto the old iron bridge. I just got that vibe just for a sec. Alright, there we go. Alright, yep, and of course he steps in the crossing. There we go. And he's gonna hit these wagons. So on me. Yeah, guys. I know that there's not a lot of talking as of now. Kind of just me playing around with the layout, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that yes, most things are operating. I'm gonna actually, once I'm done with this section, the last thing I want to show you guys, I know this video is getting long as it always is that upper part, you know, of him going up by the incline, and so we'll hopefully see how that works out. But I'm gonna have him pull these because I'm gonna show you that he is very strong if he runs. There he goes. You can make it up the hill. And we are back. Alright everyone, I just wanted to show you Peter Sam on the upper level here. Hopefully he won't stall as much as he did in the other areas of the layout. But yeah, he's going backwards now and already he's stalled. So I'm just going to show you him going, and he derailed. Not a good connection right there, as you can see. Or I have to resolder one or the other. That's the thing about these smaller engines, you know, and that's completely on me. Gotta really be careful with every connection. And as you can see, that one probably wasn't the greatest. So a little bit slower. Hopefully he'll make it this time. Yep, he did. And he just crashed into the rolling stock. I'm a little concerned about running him inside the mountain as of now, just because he may actually stall in there, so, and it's a pain in the butt to go underneath and reach up to him. So I'm probably just going to do this, go up to there. Hopefully he didn't stop there. There he goes. I'm going to run him around. Oh, and he derailed there again. Alright. Alright. Come on. There it goes. Come on. And I'll just show you guys him going into the mine thing because it's pretty cool. If only I had better lighting. But yeah, guys, he's in there somewhere. But that's Peter Sam running, and that's the layout itself. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I know it's been a long time since the last one, and I apologize for that, but nevertheless, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more videos to come.